Hey, I'm Rohit, and thanks for joining me on my channel. Today we're going to talk about how you get your needs met, learning the art of receiving love. Now, most people think that it's a given, if I do so much for my partner, then they'll do something for me. And it doesn't always work that way. And sometimes we get into demanding or nagging or whatever it is, and it doesn't work that way either. But yes, how would it feel if you were to have a way in which your partner would understand your needs, would give you exactly what you need, and if you would feel deeply loved and cherished and respected in your relationship? If that's something you'd like to learn something more about, hang in there and I'll be with you in just a moment. Okay, let's dive in. So, I've tried many different ways and I've seen many different styles, and in my work as a therapist, I've definitely come across a lot of couples warring over this situation. The problem is this, that when we try to get our needs met by demanding, by nagging, by blaming, by accusing, we tend to turn the other person off, and they'll either come back to us equally demanding, nagging, blaming, accusing, and fighting with us, and we get into conflict, and then some of us will end up breaking up or leaving the relationship, getting fed up that, hey, you're not listening to me, you don't respect me, you don't understand me, this whole thing just blows up. Or we go into an avoidant mode and we turn away from our partner and we start to either look for our needs to be met elsewhere, or we get into some kind of distraction that could be like watching TV, binging on Netflix, getting into marijuana or some other kind of addiction, a game, a sport. Some people go off to the garage and do things over there. Others find themselves friends, get busy with that. But they are feeling unfulfilled at the heart of it. And usually that's what leads to breakdown in relationships. So it's a really key issue in making a relationship work. And I think that if you really want to understand it, you need to know where not to go and where to go. One other thing that happens, of course, is some of us will tolerate, and then we'll explode and go from into what is called passive aggressive. Others will get into the giving mode, right? We'll just give more. We'll just love you more. We'll just serve you more. And we're hoping that in doing that, you will love us back. And it doesn't always happen. If you haven't taken a look at the 5 love languages, which you can find out on number 5, lovelanguages.com, you'll see that there is a whole pattern in how we love. That is to say, there are acts of service, there is touch, there is gifts, there is words of affection, and quality time, these 5. And we all have different love languages. So often we're drawn to a person who has a different love language than ours. So you can go to that website, do the quiz, and find out what's yours, what's your partner's, and you'll often find that there's a mismatch. What makes you feel loved is not what makes your partner feel loved, and vice versa. And you end up giving to your partner the very thing that makes you feel loved, is the very thing you want back. And they end up giving to you what makes them feel loved, but it's not what you want. And so you're not feeling the love from them. So all of that sort of causes things to break up and mess up and get our hearts to get hardened. If you want to keep your heart open and alive, I'm going to take you even beyond all of this, beyond the love languages, into a place where you can truly show and train your partner in what works for you. So our first step really is to discover that. Now, a lot of us think that it's our partner's job to discover that. But no, it's not your partner's job. It's nice if your partner does, wonderful if your partner does. But it really is your job to learn that, to understand that, and to really break it down so you can explain it to your partner precisely. So let me show you how to do that. Find out what works for you. Maybe even write it down in a journal. You can put it down in different headings. What makes me feel loved? What makes me feel special? What makes me feel respected? What makes me feel adored? What makes me feel cherished? What makes me feel valued? Now, of course, you can put them all in the same heading or under different headings. That's fine, whichever way works for you. But the important thing is to identify what it is that anyone may have done for you, or anything that you've craved for that someone would do for you, and put it down. Make it really, really clear to yourself so you know exactly, precisely what works. Okay? The next step is look at what it is that you do for others, for your partner and for others. And within that, you'll find a whole lot more of what it is that you crave. Okay? So having got all of that down, we come to the next step. The next step here within this is do it for yourself. Now you say, why should I do it for myself? I mean, I need my partner to do this for me, no? Why? If I do it for myself, then what's the point of having a partner? What's the point of having someone to love me, right? No, it doesn't work like that. Nobody knows how to love you. Nobody. If you're feeling unloved, it's because you haven't been able to show others how to love you. Listen to me very carefully, please, because I've spent years with this and not known and felt unloved. So if you really want to get to the heart of it, you need to know the intricacies of what makes you feel loved. So let's take an example. Let's say that you feel loved through touch. Okay, what kind of touch? Does it need to be soft? Does it need to be firm? Does it need to be more sensual? How does it need to be? Do you like your hair stroked? Do you like your feet stroked? Do you like your arms stroked? What kind of touch do you like? If it is about gifts, what kind of gifts? Are cheap and small gifts good? Are handmade gifts good? Does it have to be big, huge gifts and shows of how much you are loved is measured by how expensive the gift is? It's very specific. And so you need to find out specifically what works for you. Don't just think of one area, look at many areas. Look at all the areas that make you feel loved. And the more versatile your vocabulary is and the more specific it is, the better you're going to be at communicating that with your partner. Which brings me to the next step. Show your partner what makes you feel loved. And before you can show it to them, you're going to have to ask them. Now, this is the tricky part. A lot of people don't want to ask. They say, if I have to ask, then what's the point, right? And it sounds very logical, except it's not. If you're not able to ask them and be specific about it, they're not going to know. So, in fact, nobody knows. You may think, oh, the true lover, the person who really loves me, is the one who knows. Hey, that might be in the beginning of the relationship, when you're so open, when you're so forgiving, when you're so accepting, when they're firing away at all different levels to be able to get to you, all right? It does not continue. So don't hold that idea that they should know. It doesn't work. Okay, so the main point in asking is learning how to ask. The best way to ask is to ask at a time when things are not busy. All right, find a quiet moment and sit your partner down or sit with them in some way and let them know, hey, that time when you did this, when you did that, I felt so loved. Go into a place of vulnerability and share with them how it felt for you inside, how cherished you felt, how respected you felt, how loved you felt by them. Okay? Give them an inside glimpse of what it was like for you. Be vulnerable. Be in a place of humility. Be in a place of softness, of tenderness, a heartfelt place. Because that way your communication will land. Okay? It will land with them and they will hear you. They will not be defensive. They will not be argumentative. Oh, but I've done this so many times. Oh, but I've tried that. No. Let me give you a more precise way in which it works. I've really been experimenting with this and I really want to show you what I've learned. And I know that if you do this, it will just feel so great. Sometimes we talk about the 80-20 principle in business. Well, this works right here too. You want to know what is the 20% that gives 80% result. Think about it. It's really powerful. It's like a hydraulics and a brake. You press the brake, you're pressing a little bit, but it has this big, huge effect. So you want to know the specific things, because by knowing them, it has a massive effect on you. And you want to let your partner know that I've been discovering this and I want to share it with you now. Okay? It's really big. You got to try this out. Now, going beyond that, you'll have to do this a number of times. You may think that, oh, I've said it and now they'll remember it. No, they're likely to forget. They're likely to slip back into their old ways. They're likely to go into their bad habits. Behavior change requires repetition. Let me say that again. Behavior change requires repetition and reward. So we'll talk about the repetition part first. Repetition means you're going to have to ask them again. And with the same level of humility, not with frustration, not with nagging, don't stop all those things, and not by sulking and hiding out or avoiding. Ask from your heart, hey, that one time you did it felt so good, right? Ask again. I'd love it if you could do it again. It makes my day. Remember, your partner, if they really care about you, wants you to feel loved, wants you to be happy. It is so important to them. They just don't know how. Keep that in mind. Now, the last part is to validate your partner's success. So when they do something, let them know. When you did this, when you touched me in this way, when you cooked this for me, when you made it so beautiful, I felt so loved, I felt so cherished, I felt so valued. Let them know. Give them an inside look at what happened to you, how they were successful. Success breeds success. That's what they say in business, right? Well, it happens in relationship as well. People want to be successful in relationships. So show them how to succeed, okay? By appreciating them, by validating them, and finally, by expressing your gratitude to them. Thank you so much. That meant so much to me. Your gratitude is a very powerful tool that you have. But do it, if possible, in their love language. Now, if their love language is gifts, then give them a little gift. If their love language is touch, give them the kind of touch that they like. Validate them in their love language. And you will find that by appreciating and expressing your gratitude, you will reinforce the very behavior that you would like to see again. And it needs to be reinforced again and again and again. And having done it a few times, you will find that it works automatically. That's the amazing part. Once it becomes automatic, you don't need to do anything anymore. It would be nice to continue with the gratitude and the validation and all of that. That would be great. And, just as a way of reinforcement. But just know the hardest part is in the beginning. And don't hesitate to go through these stages so that you can get to the place where you truly get what you deserve, because you deserve to feel loved. And I want to support you in every way to get there. If you have a better way that's worked for you, if you've had anything that has really touched you in what I said, or if you've got something you'd like to propose, please write it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And please know that I read every single comment and I will respond to every comment with some kind of appreciation, or perhaps even with a feedback or a discussion back again with you. I am here for you. I care for you. And I would love to be able to have you interact with me. So it means a lot. Please, and thank you for taking me up on that. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more of these kind of videos. I'd love to be able to share more of the wonderful things I've discovered about love on this channel, where we talk about self-love, soul love, and divine love. My name is Rohit, and thank you for being with me.